Hi everyone. Welcome back to Ruth Ann Talks from a slightly different point of view. This topic is going to be addressed from the music room. Steinway's over there, cello's in front of it, and my photo of one of my roses, photoshopped by my friend Carrie, behind me. And the classic mess of music piled on the cabinet, like so many other classical musicians who can never quite get it all stuffed away. I had about 8 Reese cups, so I'm awake and ready to hold forth on the subject of my political leanings. The Annenberg Project recently mailed me a request to join their survey. Now, I don't know if everybody gets one or if just the few whose last names appear to be Latino, like mine. Because the surveys always ask you, are you of Latin origin? And I rather gleefully reply, white, because while I have complete respect for the Latin people, I'm Italian, but often mistaken for being a Latino. So I end up on people's survey lists, randomly selected, of course. So the reason I'm creating this little talk is because one of the questions asked me what my religious persuasions are. And there was quite a list. At the top of the list was all the Protestant denominations that are the most powerful in our country, followed by Roman Catholicism, Judaism, something else, perhaps Muslim, and then other, and so forth. And I chose to enter under the other category, Christian Unitarian, which I realize is going to put a kink in the entire survey. Under political party, I listed independent, with no leanings toward Democrat or Republican. And then later, this question appeared. Do you consider yourself a born-again evangelical Christian, or do you consider yourself not a born-again evangelical Christian? And I sat there and stared at that, and my whole life flashed before my eyes. And all the born-again Christians will understand why. Nobody else will, but the born-again Christians will. Particularly if they're over 60, single, and alone. I'm wagering my bank account as it currently stands. So I stared at that question and finally realized, there's only one choice here. And I checked. Born again, evangelical Christian. And then I completed that portion of the survey and hit submit and was offered several gift cards for $15 value. And I suppose I'll hear from them again before the election, if the election actually happens. Maybe the election will be pushed ahead to 2021, just like the Olympics. This is leap year, after all. Why don't we just leap the whole year, is what I've been saying. So there I was, reflecting upon my entire life. And just a few minutes ago, laying in bed trying to fall asleep, realizing that wasn't going to happen after having 8 snack-sized Reese cups. I realized my better energies might be spent getting out of bed, putting on a little face and making this talk. I consider myself an ecumenical Christian Unitarian, raised by the sectarian evangelical fundamentalists. I do not identify with the extreme Christian right or the extreme political right on any point at all except the sanctity of life. I am profoundly pro-life. And here's why. In spite of the incredible contributions of my counterpart, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it's my belief that the term reproductive rights evolved into a label for and serving of those who defend a woman's right to choose to abort. Unless you think I'm some uptight, frigid, self-righteous Phyllis Schlafly, back in 1985, I thought I was pregnant, and I had to tell my mother, and she drove me to the lab for the test. So, I wasn't pregnant, or at least the test indicated that I was not. But I'll bet I probably was, and it just was a very early conception that did not nest and was sloughed off. So I've been down that road, albeit a short, side road of the big long one. But I've had a taste. I know all the feels that go with that. I'm profoundly pro-life, the sanctity of life. And reproductive rights as a term, you'll never hear it. I challenge you to find any arena in which the term reproductive rights is used to defend a woman's right to choose to abstain. No. The term is used to defend women who want to retain power over their right to choose to abort. Now, nature teaches us that our bodies will abort any unviable fetus. We aren't responsible for making that decision. Our bodies do it for us. Because while we're pregnant, we are in the service of the life that has begun inside our bodies. We give up our right to choose once we conceive, period. Or no period. So, that's the point. The only point with which I will align with the extreme right. But it's so far to the right that there's no place for me in the middle. It tips the scale completely over. The scale falls over. So I'm an independent with no place to put myself, who believes that unity of faith is always better than divisions thereof. The Unitarians, for whom I play the piano, permit open discussion on any topic from any point of view every Sunday morning. It has the trappings of a modest little fundamental sect. The meeting halls, the little churches are small, the congregations aren't very large, at least not the one that I attend, where I'm hired to play piano. But one can represent one's faith openly within that collective. So I don't know what the future holds with the Annenberg project survey. I don't know what of my point of view will be of any value to them. I expect to skew the mix, but I accepted Jesus as my personal Savior at the age of 6, after Bible Club at Ruth Erb's house over on Wayne Street, a block from our home, and have grappled with faith in all its manifestations ever since. I'm the one that asks the questions and waits for the answer. And if I don't like the answer, I ask a different question. Last I checked, having faith was rarely about asking any questions. There's the conundrum. For me, anyway. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on the Annenberg panel, political panel, as it unfolds during the time of social distancing in the midst of the global COVID-19 pandemic. Now I'll try again to let my body sleep. I'll let you sleep on that. Maybe it'll keep you awake too. It's the best I can tell you. I guess the closing would be good morning.